Hello and welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and Cadian White Shields, to another episode of Take Aim. I'm Jack, and I'm joined by Harley, the second from at first. We're all kind of guard mains, at 6++ in our hearts. And we are here to go over the Dataslate changes with you, as well as stuff that's going to be where to look on the horizon for the Astra Militarum for
What
the
looks
Imperial.
good?
Yeah, what looks good in the future, where we're going to go from here. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. Let's just get straight into the meat and potatoes of this
Just
one.
jump straight in.
Exactly. Right, changes. I'm gonna do live editing there. There we go.
Move me
Okay,
out
now we
the
can
way.
read it. Right, so the changes. There were a few. There was the one rules change for the Astra Militarum, and that was that Lord Solar can order Titanic. No, they can't order Knights before you think of it. But yeah, that's interesting change, right? It costs nothing to add that for the guys that want to play
If you
Titanic.
want to play like a Baneblade, then go have your fun.
Yeah.
Like, just enjoy, right?
I think if you're playing on like weird terrain formats, like that are very open, looking at like Saffron Slam.
There are like local GTs that the terrain is a little bit open, and there is an option for a Baneblade.
Yeah. You may still struggle to deploy them a bit, but there's potential there. You could maybe run a skew, and then in the same way that a Knight player might run through a GT, you may run through a GT with your super heavy tank. But I wouldn't be building many competitive strategies around it personally.
Yeah, it's just like a nice change, right? It's like
Yeah.
you guys who play with your Baneblades, like if you're playing like a 10,000 point game, all of a sudden your Baneblades are just a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean it costs nothing, right? It costs
Exactly.
nothing for good manners. So let's just do that. Okay. Points changes. Let's talk about those. We'll start with the nerfs. So the Death Core of Krieg unit has gone up 15 points for the 20 man.
Yeah.
I'll just cover all the nerfs and we'll cover them all at once. We've got the Lehman Russ Battle Tank up by 10 points to 185. The Taurox up by 10 to 85.
75.
75. Yeah, sorry, that's the Chimera I'm thinking of. Creed is up 20 to 85. Aquilons are down 10 to 100. Sorry, that's above. So we'll cover that in a minute. So just the nerves. Harley, what are we thinking here on this one? Like clear nerfs to the sort of things that you were running, right? Same as a couple of other top
these
guard
were
players.
the big hit. These were the big hitters. If you look in every sort of top guard players list, so Gustavo, who was on before my list, we was using 2 Lehman Russ battle tanks. We were using 2 units of Krieg. We were using Ursula Creed. So it's basically the big hitters that went up. That was really expected to. The Taurox as well. That thing was way too cheap at 65. So all these little points taps were expected and probably fair because Guard just had a little bit too much stuff. You lose a unit in total, like a unit of Catachan. So it's not like drastic, but it is in a sense of now that these have gone up, what else can we take? What can we look at? What went down? Is there sort of better alternatives in the market? And I think there is when we will get onto that.
Yeah, I mean this adds a lot of options for internal balance, right? Because like if these things don't become like the most points efficient option, because a lot of it is picking the most points efficient option from the vast swathes of data sheets you have available on Guard, right? Yep. So if you change what is the most efficient, suddenly there are other choices that you can take quite quickly. Like that becomes the case because there's so many data sheets. So like for example, the Taurox, right? Would you say the Chimera is a more like valuable choice over the Taurox now?
100%. I don't really even think it's close anymore. So Taurox 75, Chimera's 85. I will just list the things that you gain. So you gain an extra toughness, an extra wound, you gain the smoke keyword, you gain 2 heavy flamers, a hunter killer missile, 18 las gunshots with lethals in combined, and obviously that's strong. And then you also gain fire in deck. So for 10 points, I don't see any world you really take the Taurox. It only helped with Alpha Strike on Kassakin. I think you just now you've lost a unit, you play a little bit more cagey with your Chimeras and your Kassakin and just play a little bit different, really. But I just think the Chimeras are just such the better option now. 20 points between two of them before. By the time you take two Taurox over two Chimera, that's 40 points. So you would do it, but now you just pay the extra 10 for the Chimera.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe there's still room for the Torx. I don't think is useless. There's still room
No,
for it,
still good.
especially if you're still playing if you're playing Hammer, right? Then like the Alpha Strike potential with Kassakin in there is really powerful. I think that's still super good. So I think it still has a place, which is good, which is what you want. But I think it kind of by tapping the Taurox down a little bit, by tapping it up, you 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 kind of make the internal balance better and the Chimera more of a desirable choice, which is pretty cool, right? I
Yeah.
like that.
I think it's personal preference as well. So for me, I will always take the Chimera because I like to play a little bit more cagey. I just like to sit a bit more. I know Gustavo absolutely loves sending his Kassakin at people down their throat turn one, so I assume he will probably still take the Taurox, and it's not bad. They're just two different things now that are just. It's not an auto take of the Taurox anymore. It's actually, ooh, do I pay this 10 points? And I actually have somewhat of a battle tank because by the time you put Kassakin in it, you have fire in deck from two plasma guns, then you have two heavy flamers, then like it's a lot of shooting for
Mm.
a tank. That's only 85 points.
Yeah, or with lethal hits as well, right?
Yeah,
In combined.
100%. I think it's very solid.
Okay. So let's go on to the buffs then. The points buffs we got. First of all, Aquilon's down 10. Death Rider's down 10 or 20 for the large unit, and Bulgrin down 10 or 20 for the large unit. What are we thinking here?
So I think the Death Riders are it's a bit of a hit or miss, really. I don't think they're a terrible unit. I just think they are brought down by the fact Rough Riders are the same points,
Yeah,
and they are
exactly.
just the better option to take.
Yeah, they're just worse
Um,
Rough
so
Riders.
yeah, exactly. I don't think it's a thing of they're terrible. There's just a better option, as we were saying inside of the book, that does the same role. Um, Aquilons. This is quite a spicy one. Because in combined, you can take one unit for 100, and technically you have two units of the Aquilons, which is quite nice considering they're good for primary denial, good for move blocking, good for secondaries. It opens up an avenue that is sort of like, do I take one unit of Aquilons to potentially have a second with reinforce and then get some cards that I couldn't normally get? Maybe deny a primary. I think they are looking decent for 100 points. I would like to try a unit and combined and see how I get on.
Yeah, like a single unit of these is like a really interesting choice, right? Especially on a lot of the UKTC maps where there's like weird corners in the deployments that are kind of hard to screen out 6 inches for. So that's really interesting. And then on the upcoming meta, things like, I mean, you just get to ruin Eldar's day, which is just a huge bonus for me, and I might just
Yep.
take them for just that reason. Um, Bulgrin, what are we thinking on Bulgrin?
Ooh. So the free man going down 10 doesn't really affect anything here. I don't think you take a free man just because I don't think it's enough. The way I see it now is for 145 points is the 20 man Krieg, and the Bulgarin is 200. So it's a 55-point difference to gain potentially a couple of extra wounds because could do a couple slab shields in the unit to try have a couple 4 wound models. So then you gain a free up save, so you have a better base save, toughness 6. Then you also have a 4 up invuln, a 6 up feel no pain, -1 damage. Um, they still don't have orders, which is their big downfall. But I think one unit is fine. It's a nice backbone, a little bit of counterpunch, something that will stick, right? The 20-man Krieg, you would use them because they're hard to shift. This does the same job, but it's even harder to shift than the Krieg.
Hot take. I think going several units of the three mans is actually all right as well. For situations where people like have like an infiltrate or scouting infiltrate unit that's going to rush you early and try and tag up your tanks and stop them from dealing with you, having that as like a heroic intervene threat just to stop people from doing that. A couple of like small units to just run around and beat like a trading piece. 100 points is quite cheap for how tough they are as a trading piece.
They are tough.
Just be like, you can put some OC on an objective and be like, okay, you've got to come and get rid of these now. And like the investment they require to get rid of is much higher than their points cost.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that that's like quite justifiable. But since we're talking about Bulgrin anyway, um, let's talk about the future of guard lists.
Yep, yep.
Right. What is next for the Imperial Guard? We've mentioned Bulgrin. So do we think so? Are you gonna? So you're gonna be including them in lists, or is this just a
I
cute thing?
think for combined, I will take one unit, depending on terrain that I'm playing. I like one. It's a asset that is hard to shift. It has a little bit of combat. It can screen your tanks. It can do a lot. One unit, and for 200 points, I think it's a worthwhile investment. I played a game with them the other day just to sort of test them. Someone sent 10 Plague Marines into them, killed 2.5 Bulgrin, and then the Bulgrin killed 5 Plague Marines back. So they are tough, really tough. -1 damage into this meta that we are in at the moment seems very, very strong, especially with 3 wound models and potentially a 4 wound model if you wish to take maybe a slab shield, one in the unit to maybe make it a bit awkward for certain profiles. -1 damage is so good right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I would
100%.
say yes, I will probably be using one unit at least. 2 might be a bit too much, but I will obviously need to do like a lot of testing with this to see.
I think they're actually surprisingly good in Siege Regiment as well, because they get the fight on death access. It is only a fight on death, but that is enough to scare people
Hmm.
into not charging you. I'm thinking like some of the squishier combat units in the game, like Eldari, or maybe just power armor Marines. Right, you can put enough attacks out there to threaten things.
Strength 7, AP 1, damage 2 is quite a nice profile.
Yeah, yeah,
And they have actually a good, it's like 4 attacks each is not nothing.
yeah.
If they charge a unit, kill half, you're going to fight with either 2 or 1 on death, and then the other 3, you depend what's charging, you can do a decent number back.
Yeah. I think the main benefit of Bulgrin are going to be people undercommitting to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to catch people out.
Yep.
Especially since we're kind of going into like a more of an MSUE meta, I think. So that may be just to their benefit. Let's talk a bit more about Aquilons. So I mean, you mentioned them about in combined, right? Are there any other detachments that stand out for them? Like, would you take them in a Hammer of the Emperor list, for example?
I think Hammer, no, because you want to focus on what Hammer dials into, which is tanks, tanks, tanks. I think the sweet spot is combined because 100 points is still a little bit pricey for them.
Yeah.
So I think the only way I would personally make them work is if I can get that unit back.
Especially if you're not going to take the 20-man Death Corps of Krieg, you have another target for the for the you have another target for reinforcements in the Aquilons.
Yeah, I think they're just a good reinforcements target. They do a secondary, maybe you draw behind and establish it's one of those turns. You don't want to redraw. You just go, Aquilons get me 7 points because and then you just enjoy 7 points that you normally wouldn't have, and then they die, and then you get them back, and then you do it again. Like, especially with recover assets being at the end of the turn now as well. That's one that can be done if you need points. So there are options with it. I think one unit would be a little bit spicy.
One thing I do really like is actually them in mechanized. which is a weird shout. But what you can do with them is you can heroic. You can rapid ingress them in. So it's like if you move forward with like one of your transports, get a unit out to shoot, you can rapid ingress. Sorry, if you so you've done that right and killed something, goes into the opponent's turn. The opponent comes towards you. You can rapid ingress within range of the transport, right, and then come down, do your like shots when you land, that sort of thing. Potentially even Overwatch if you want it. And at the end of the turn, you can get in that transport with the I think it's hasty extraction is the name of the strat.
Yeah, there's a strat. Yeah.
So you can get in the transport, even if your opponent kills the first unit that you have disembarked and used as like a as a sword to kill something. You can then reload the gun basically and put another unit in that transport and then get the benefit a second time.
There's
Which is
even something that I haven't thought about till now is in mechanized. I believe there's a strat to is it reactive move when someone charges you? Is that
you can get in a transport when someone
so?
charges
You
you. Yeah,
could potentially playing certain combat armies. You could rapid ingress in front of a transport that's empty, block it. Then when they charge, you could get it in. So you block the charge into the transport. Like you can do certain things with it that wouldn't normally be done.
yeah,
I
exactly.
just think they're good.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of jankiness you can do.
they're not
So
broken, but they're an
yeah,
option now where they weren't before.
yeah, I think some like taking out other stuff, like I said, taking out the Decor Creek, I think it makes them it gives them a spot where they maybe wouldn't get it in combined. So Lehman Russ Executioner is one that I think is also quite good. I liked it before, when it was the same points as the Battle Tank. But now the Battle Tank's gone up in points, leaves the Executioner fairly cheap in comparison. I think that damage 3 is just incredible. I think strength 8 is good going into a marine heavy meta. It plays quite well into a lot of the factions that are running around right now. Getting the lethals and combined into vehicles kind of mitigates only having strength 8. And then having all that extra AP. I mean, I value AP super highly. I think that's going to be really useful coming up soon. So I sure the rule is like not good. We don't worry about play it without a data sheet rule, right? But yeah, I really value the executioner. I think its weapon profiles are going to be really solid. What do you think about it?
I think it's good. I don't see no issues with it. I think it's a solid take. I think all the rush tanks are quite solid, to be honest. They're just pointed well, and you get so many guns. It's so tough to kill. I need to test it really because with battle tanks going up, I'm looking at Vanquishers personally, just because they are so cheap. Like even if the main gun doesn't hit, you're still getting plasma cannons, las cannons, Starbar, T11, OC3. Like you're still getting a big tank.
Yeah, I mean, I did the TTS fight night with uh
Ben, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah, with Ben in Emperor's Children, and I had Executioners and Vanquishers, and they were both fantastic. So
There
yeah,
might be a mix, maybe two Vanquishers and Executioner, or the other way.
that's the beauty of the Lehman Russ, right? You can take like 4 on a list, and it doesn't even touch the sides.
Yeah, they're amazing, right? Guard
It is
is
the most points efficient tank
Lehman
chassis in the game. So
100%, and that's what Guard are about, right? The
yeah,
tank chassis are the key.
yeah, awesome. So last on the list, I've put down the Lord Solar. So with Creed getting nerfed, does that open the way for Lord Solar to come back in?
Personally, my opinion, it's hit or miss. I'm not the biggest fan of either of them now, just because of their points. Like 150 is a big setback. I'm looking more at Acadian Command Squad with Grand Strategists to do my orders now.
Mm.
Because the lists that I'm playing are a little bit different now. And we can sort of get onto that later, but I don't think I need too many orders anymore. So I'm not too worried about having that backfield ordering. Like it was definitely necessary to have at one point, but I believe it is a decent take because it is 5 CP, it's a redeploy. I would take it over Creed in this instance. I don't think
Yeah,
Creed is worth it anymore.
yeah. I think I think the redeploy is really valuable going into the current meta. I think there's going to be a lot of really annoying infiltrating threats and scouting threats that we want to push back. So having that for Rattlings or for Gaunt's Ghosts, I think is going to be super good. And the CP is just generically useful.
Yeah, it's always useful CP, right? Like you can never go wrong with an extra CP. It buys you a grenades, a tank shock, a reroll, like anything anywhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I just think it's such a powerful ability +1 CP. So I rate it very highly. And if you aren't going to take Creed, like it does leave you short on regiment orders, so you need to make up those points somewhere. Because like yes, he is 150 points, but the way I look at it is like, okay, he's 150 points, but I don't look at it as in that's his points. It's the difference between what you're not taking, right? So he's only 70 more than what you would be taking for Creed. Is his benefits over what Creed gives you worth it? Is if you're taking them rather than a Cadian command squad with Grand Strategist, that's
I
what,
believe
70 points more? 15 for Grand Strategist, I think it is,
so
right?
it is 80 points for a
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
command squad, yeah.
So 70 points more for what Lord Solar gives you, which is +1 CP, the redeploy, and the order anything. I think that's worth it. The problem is like, how are you going to, like, can you leverage his the fact that he's a guy on a horse in a unit? Like, is that gonna, because leaving it back on your home field objective to screen out like a huge area, I'm not sure. Like, depending on your list, maybe that's worth it, maybe that's not. Like if you're running, say, field ordnance batteries that you want to just have on your home objective anyway, you probably don't want him back there as well. So is he more worth it going forward? It's one you're going to have to experiment with. I think he is certainly more worth it now with his competition going up in points. But again, it's one you're going to have to practice with. I want games with him to try, basically.
The way I look at Creed now is, what would I rather, Creed or a Chimera? Because they are the same points.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at Creed now. So, and in that case, the Chimera wins for me.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So have you been working on some lists?
Yeah, so I've written up a couple lists that I think may have play. Hammer and Combined, I still think are the best detachments. I think Mechanized is probably closely followed behind, and then I don't think Recon has much play, unfortunately.
I think Mech has more play on UKTC, and I think Recon has more play on like WTC boards. But I don't know if either are necessarily like good enough to become the number one choice on either.
Yeah, I think number one is very tight between Combined and Hammer as well. I don't think there's a clear winner. I think it's down to what you are playing for. Are you playing teams? Are you playing singles? What's your
Playstyle
play
as well, right?
style?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that goes into that at the moment. So, but I've got a couple lists that I've written up and I can show you guys as well. That are quite interesting. Combined, I probably lean towards a little bit because it's a little bit more well rounded. But I do enjoy Hammer. Hammer's very fun just to send things flying across the board. Like, it is hilarious.
It's a great stat check, right?
Oh, it's brilliant. It is just so fun to play. Here's a Rogel Dawn that's gone 19 inches through walls. And then people go, what do I do? And then you're just like, yeah, do you kill it? And then if they don't kill it, they can't tag it because it'll just fall back and shoot. The strats in Hammer are really, really good. But Lethals in Combined is like, Lethals is so good. The amount of times you roll a tank out and then you just get them extra wounds through that you normally wouldn't, that end up pushing over the threshold to kill something, is really important. And that's the biggest thing I missed when going to Hammer was lethal hits.
Yeah, I mean that's always the thing. Like, it's such a strong detachment wall.
Oh, it's amazing.
Right. Let's bring up the list then. All right, so here's the combined regiment list. So run us through this one, Harley.
So I have Cadian Command Squad with Grand Strategist. So this is your B-Tech Ursula Creed Leontus. It's a little bit cheaper. It gives you 2 orders. I don't think you need that many more orders than that with this list. So I think that's okay, being as that. So that's been quite good as I've tested it. Spice, 2 Rogal Dawn commanders. This is where I think the spice is now with Guard. I think you up to the second Rogal Dawn commander.
You could. They haven't nerfed it yet, so you're
Yeah,
justified in buying a second one.
you get that second Rogal Dawn, get it on the table, and shoot people. This is the way. 10 Cadian shock troops to go with, not Ursula, the Cadian command squad. Voxcaster in there, so you get the CP back on a 4-up if you spend any CP with that unit, which is quite handy. There's quite a lot of Voxcasters, so you do have quite a lot of CP regen potential in this list, which is nice. So then you have 2 10-man Katachan units. I think this is pretty bog standard for every list I play. It's Scout, it's early primary denial, it's early cards, a couple flamers, work well with firing deck on chimeras. I love this unit. It's probably one of my favorite units in the book, Katachans, to be honest. They're just so good. Here is another little bit of spice. I think the 20-man Death Corp of Krieg is still an auto take for me as one unit. Purely because as soon as you run this to your expansion objective, you can say, this is mine because I have 60 OC. That's personally why I run one unit, because no one will ever out OC it. They have to kill it to stop your primary. And then if they kill it, you can bring it back. And if you don't bring it back, it might survive. And then you probably kill what they put out to shoot it. And it's normally always a points trade going up, because they are still decently costed.
Unless it's Blood Angels.
Unless it's Blood Angels. And then this... Yeah, they will get to it.
Especially on UKTC, where you have the benefit of ruins covering your expansion objective basically every time, right? So
yeah, exactly. You just go 1 inch, and then you have some fun. Next, which is my personal sort of thing I like. As I said earlier, I like the chimeras now, and they're probably one of the best skirmishing units in the game, I think, for their points and sort of what you can put inside. I love them so much. 2 heavy flamers, a hunter killer, firing deck. They're just really good. And to sort of go with them, I put 2x10 Kassakin to go inside. So you get scout moves on them, so you can still alpha strike. It's not as quick as Taurox, but you can still go 19 inches turn 1 and get out, which is still quite a lot. So I love that package of 2 Chimera 20 Kassakin. I love it so much. I rate it really highly. And then going back to earlier talking about the orders with this list, one of the reasons you don't need so many orders is because Kassakin order themselves, which is just amazing. Like, they get out, they order themselves, done. It's so good having that ability. The next bit of spice was the Unit 6 Bulgrin. It's a little bit of backbone for the list, that you have something that if something gets tagged in an area, you can probably charge these in, do a bit of damage, or tag something up. If you don't have enough damage to say someone plays a little bit of a stat check, you don't have the damage to kill what you need, you kill half and tag the rest with Bulgrin, because they most likely will not kill it in combat. Not a lot of things kill that unit in combat. So it's a safety net.
Yeah, it stops people getting too fresh with like 5 mans of infractors with a lord in there, right? Like,
yeah. Oh, you're going to charge this. Okay, well, I'm going to heroic with these 6 Bulgrin.
Yeah.
Base these guys so you can't pile into this unit. Now you don't kill that unit, and you don't kill the Bulgrin, so you don't get your pledge, and then the Bulgrin smack you back.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think 6 is a very nice unit. Another thing I really, really rate is Hellhounds for what they're costed. I have seen Nassim so many times use a Hellhound and it survive half an army's worth of shooting when it should have died.
Yeah.
These things are so tough for no reason at all. 2 up save, T10 with access to smoke. It's a beast.
Cash money.
Cash money. I'd take it every time. I love it. Tank Shock, Flamer, Overwatch, and a lot of people don't realize that the Flamer is 18-inch range. So when people normally say move a unit out, they're like, oh, well, it's only 12-inch range. And then you go, it's 18. And then they're like, oh, I've got to move even further this way to try avoid it. They're very good. Already discussed the Kassakin because they're just very good. Scout Sentinels. This is the other little bit of spice. They're fast. They turn 1 secondary. They, on a lot of boards, can scout into a place to block area denial turn 1. And if people want to commit to kill them, it's not normally easy if you scout in a certain way. Reroll 1s to hit is really nice as well for your Dawns. So that's good. Yeah, I just really like them for their points. They're just pointed really well at 55. So
55 points for a T7 7-wound chassis is just really good, right? As a Piranha enjoyer, it's just so good.
Yeah, and also you have lethal hits on a las cannon and a hunter killer. So
against everything.
Sometimes it just goes bang, and then you're like, "Oh, that wasn't supposed to do that."
Exactly.
So I think they're really good, and they tag things because of exactly what you said there. T7, 3 up save, 7 wound chassis. It's an awkward profile for 55 points. It's going to keep 5 Space Marines there. It's probably even going to keep 5 Howling Banshees there. There's a lot of things it can tag that is just handy. So I think they're really good. And then the other bit of spice in this list is the Aquilons. As mentioned, obviously they can come back, which they could always, but at 100 points, I feel like there might be something there with them. And now the thing is, when you took the 2 Krieg units, you would always, one on your expansion, one would go out, tag things, be annoying, die, and come back. Now you're only taking 1 Krieg unit that really shouldn't die because it's sitting on your expansion. It's not there to annoy people anymore. So you don't really need to reinforce that. Kassakin reinforcing is good, but they come back from strat reserve and are a bit slow. This unit is a really good unit to reinforce because it comes back with a 6-inch deep strike. Yeah. So I want to test it out, and then that really rounds off quite a combined list. So,
all right, nice. So on the other side of the coin, we've got Hammer of the Emperor. So why don't we quickly run through what we've got on that one?
Oh, lots. So this one I'm testing a little different bit of spice.
It's all spice. The spice
it's all spice.
Yeah.
All spice. 2 Cadian command squads with Oghren bodyguards. So the unit becomes toughness 6. It has a 6 wound bodyguard in the Oghren with a 4 up in Vun and a 6 up feel no pain. The commander in the squad gets a 4 up feel no pain while the bodyguard is leading the unit.
Yeah.
So this unit is so much tankier than people think it is. I've shot so much into this unit before, and it just survived things it shouldn't survive. And it's quite cheap. It has good OC. It can order itself. I think it's a really good unit.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The Oghren bodyguard is a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can allocate attacks to any model in the unit, right? Well, if you can allocate attacks to the characters basically because every model in the unit is a character. Well, not every model, but you can put the 4 wounds on the 4 up phone paint guy if you need to, if it's more prudent to do so.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. And the unit, I believe, has a medipack, so you can bring guys back.
Yeah, you
can't bring the 3 wound guy back.
No,
you can bring back the 1 wound guys. So it's just a really nice unit. I really like it. So I would highly recommend people try this unit. Next up, I think for Hammer, it lacks a little bit in bodies, so I think Gaunt's Ghost. Just to screen, just to maybe do that recover assets. No, sorry, not recover assets. Sabotage with low knot. Backfield scoring late on. I just love that unit. I think it's really good. So I would definitely play Gaunt's Ghost here. There's an argument to put them in the other list as well, but I think the Aquilons sort of counter that. The fact that you can have basically 2 deep striking units. So then we go with the exact same as the other list, 2 Rogal Dawn Commanders. But in this one, you have 6 up, feel no pain on one of them, and reroll 1s to hit because they're just amazing enhancements. And they're relatively cheap. I think 15 points and 20 points, which is quite easy to find normally. And then this is going to be a standard package that you're going to see here in pretty much probably all of my lists because I really like it. 20 Catachans, 20 Death Corps of Krieg, 2 Chimeras, 20 Kassakin. I think that package there is so good for skirmishing and mid-board early game. I think all my lists will probably contain that. But there is options to maybe go Tauroxes in this detachment. But I personally like the Chimeras. Especially since you can give them assault as well. So like the flamers, it's just a nice thing to have. And then this is the thing I want to test. Just so I can roll 2s and 1s when I'm rolling to hit and cry. Triple Vanquisher, baby. 1 flame ball, so just 3 flamers. Screw the las cannon. Screw everything else. It's there to have a good time. I hope you Eldar players can ignore Overwatch 4 times because you're going to need to with this thing. And then 2 plasma cannon ones because I feel Marines are popping up a bit more in the meta with Death Guard, EC, Thousand Suns, Blood Angels, you name it, right? So many Marines are coming into the meta right now. So plasma cannons go, goodbye Marines. And Vanquishers are just, when you lose the lethals, you lose a little bit of your anti-tank presence. And Vanquishers, although they might not hit and do anything, they make people respect you. It's just like, you respect that, right? You can't disrespect that because if it does hit and wound and you fail the save, you're just dead. Like, you can't disrespect it because at the end of the day, it is a dice game and these things can dice you really hard.
Yeah, just ask Ben and his Emperor's Children Demon Princes what Vanquishers can do. If you check out the TTS fight night we did a couple of weeks ago,
they're just so dicey, and they're 145 points. Why not take that casino? Take that gamble.
Exactly.
And even if it doesn't pay off, you have a hunter killer, a las cannon, plasma cannons, and then a stubber. So why not? I think I want to test both these lists, really.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So I guess that's basically it. We've pretty much covered everything that we're gonna be able to cover for the old Dataslate changes. So thanks, Harley, for joining us. If we can working together on this one.
Yeah.
We'll be back soon with some more Imperial Guard goodness. And until next time, guys. Bye bye.
Thanks.